Twitter's got something brand new to help those of you out that have reputation problems and bad review problems on the internet. Twitter's got something brand new for you to combat that. So for those of you unlucky enough to have problems, I feel for you. I've worked with a lot of companies over the years where unfortunately they have somebody slander them on the internet through either bad reviews or even worse, they'll go on multiple websites and leave blog posts and say bad things about people, and then you do a search for that person or that company name and all this bad stuff pops up. So I've worked with a lot of companies over the years where they say, hey Chris, what can I do? I type in my name in and all this bad stuff pops up that's not true. So the main way to combat that, first off, for those of you that have reputation problems, is there's nothing that you can do to delete reviews. You can't delete bad comments. You can't delete somebody's blog post if they make a blog post saying bad things. The only way to really combat negative is with positive. You want to defeat hate with love. That's the Christian way of doing it. But it works in reputation management too. The main way to defeat negative stuff is with positive stuff. So by positive stuff, I mean creating a lot of content that you control that says good things about your company. So the most popular way is to create a profile in all the different social media websites that are out there, to create profiles and good content. And eventually you want to just overwhelm Google with all of these different profiles that are out there with your name, with your company name, and you want to compete with all these bad listings that are out there. So eventually you want the bad stuff to go down in Google, and you want the stuff that you control, the stuff that's good, to eventually creep up and overtake the real estate that the bad stuff has had on Google. So what is Twitter doing now? How can Twitter help out? Well, besides Twitter being a social network, Twitter also now has a carousel feature in Google. So if you type in a celebrity or somebody that is well known on Twitter that uses it a lot, if you do a search for that person's name, you'll find that sometimes there's a carousel that's underneath. A carousel is basically like blocks. They're like little cards, and they take up a lot of space on Google. So like you can go through several different tweets without leaving Google. You can look at a Twitter feed or what people could even be what other people are saying about somebody. Could be somebody famous, and you have a bunch of different people that are talking about one particular person on Twitter, and that's another reason why the carousel pops up. So you have a carousel that pops up with all these different tweets, and you can push the right arrow and the left arrow. But the main thing that you should care about is that it takes up a lot of space. Takes up like double the real estate, sometimes even triple the real estate than a typical website listing would. So it like pushes everything down. For most small business owners, you're not going to have tons of people talking about you. So it's going to be more a case where if you have reputation problems, you want to tweet a lot, you want to put out a lot of content on Twitter, like legitimate stuff, like Twitter is smart enough to know if you're just typing in a few letters here or a couple words there. So you want it to be like, legitimate tweets, legitimate content. But if you do a lot of it, you can't have that carousel pop up. It's not easy to do. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of content. Doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes it does happen, and it can be a huge help. And another tool in the toolbox you can use to combat the reputation issues that you're having.